paid advertising and marketing. That is what we are talking about today. There are so many different avenues that you could spend money to acquire to get new customers. And the reality is the average person sees 13,000 different advertisements a day. How do you stand out? How do you separate yourself from the masses? If you are a small business owner, you cannot just rely on referrals from other customers for doing good work. If you want to actually grow a business, to grow an asset, and turn your side hustle into something that is worth value, start to hire employees, that is what we're talking about today. You must master, there are two things that we're going to master today. We're going to master number one, how to calculate the cost per lead, because that matters depending on the avenues of where you're spending money. The second thing we're going to master and share with you in this video is how to calculate the customer acquisition cost. It's called c.a.c, c.a.c. for short. So make sure you watch all the way to the end, because if you are a small business owner and you're spending money on marketing, you must understand these numbers. If you do not know the numbers to the game, how do you know if you're winning or losing? If the two football teams in the Super Bowl are playing a football game and there's no scoreboard, they take the scoreboard down. By the third quarter, nobody's going to know what the score is. We have to understand the numbers in our business to make sure that we are making calculated decisions so you don't go out of business. Because the reality is also 97% of businesses don't make it to 10 years. This is a key component to what you must understand if you're going to own a business. Make sure you watch all the way to the end. You're not going to want to miss this. I do this stuff completely free, guys. If you are not subscribed to the channel, it is time right now. Scroll down, click the subscribe button. Let's jump into it. The number one most important thing that we need to be doing to understand the customer acquisition costs and to understand how much money these leads are costing us is we need to be asking the customers, how did they hear about us? So this is a pivotal question, whether they are filling a form out on our website or we are taking a sales call, incoming sales call over the phone. After we get their name, phone number, address, email, all the good stuff, right? The services they want. We must ask them, hey, just out of curiosity, how did you hear about us today? That is a key component because we need to track this stuff to understand how much money we're spending towards a certain marketing avenue and how much money we're getting back from it, all right? So once we start to learn that, and again, there's tons of different ways you can market. Tons. Every door direct mail, just to name a few. Your truck decals on the truck. You can build a website, Google My Business, Google Local Services, Facebook ads, Google ads, Nextdoor. I mean, the list just goes on and on and on. Yard signs, door hangers, flyers, like there are just so many different ways. We don't want to waste money either. And when you're just getting started, every dollar counts. How did they hear about us? We need to understand that. Once we gather this data, there are 4 key components on figuring out your cost per lead. There are 4 key components here. Number 1, you need to understand what your close ratio is. This is very, very important. When you give an estimate over the phone or you send an estimate to somebody, what you do is take that number, divide it by how many estimates you sent out. If, for example, you sent out 10 estimates this week and 5 booked, that would be 5 divided by 10. You would have a 50% close ratio. I don't know if that's probably too blurry. So you just take the number of accepted divided by sent equals close ratio. The next thing you need to know is the lifetime value of the customer. Some people call this like attrition rate. How long are these customers, like what is their lifetime value? All right, so for us personally, what we see is 2.5 years, roughly. A little bit more than that, but we're gonna be conservative here. 2.5 years is typically how long a customer stays with our lawn services. We need to understand this. You basically will need to track this, and the easiest way to do that is to figure out of all of your recurring customers, let's say you have 100 mowing customers. And by the end of the year, you now, maybe people sold their home, people moved, people left, people canceled because of poor quality services, whatever. Let's say that 92 customers is what you finished off with at the end of the year. In that scenario, you have a 8% turnover rate annually. 8% of your customers you're gonna lose every single year. That's a really, really good attrition rate, especially annually. Most of the time in lawn care, 20 to 30% is kind of normal. You're gonna lose 20 to 30% of your customers. So out of 100 customers, you're probably gonna lose about 30 of those. That's normal. People come, people leave, people sell their house, whatever, right? So we need to understand how long that our customers are staying. So if you have a 30% turnover rate, which means out of 100 customers, you're going to lose 30 of them, it's going to take you a little bit more than 3 years to lose all of your customers. Hopefully that makes sense. So we have to understand, okay, how long are these customers typically staying with us? What is the average time span for these customers? All right, that's very, very important for lifetime value. All right, next thing is going to be revenue per year. How much do these customers get you? Everybody's business is going to be different. In our business, an average customer makes us $2,000 a year. Some make a little bit more, some make a little bit less, but our average is about $2,000 per client. All of this is data. So we got our close ratio, we got how long our customers are staying, what the average customer makes us every year, and then the last thing is going to be profit. In our business, so last year we had roughly, I think, about a 15% close ratio in our business. So we're gonna roll with that number today. So to get profit, that's probably a whole nother video, but hopefully you guys are tracking your profit and loss statements and you can figure out, hey, this is how much I made, this is how much I spent, and then whatever that difference is on the bottom line, that's gonna be your profit. But in this scenario, 15% profit. We have this data here because right now we are actually running Facebook ads. So we're gonna use a real scenario. So I just summed it up here. We got a close ratio. So these are actually real numbers from our business. So we have a 40% close ratio, 2.5-year lifespan for every customer. Revenue annually that we get from our customers is $2,000 a year, and we have our profit at 15%. The question is, how do we calculate how much we are willing to spend per lead? Well, we're gonna use Facebook ads, for example. So let me go ahead and put a line here. So right now, this is springtime. We are running Facebook ads. Let's talk about Facebook ads. I just checked it the other day. I think it was like the second day we had it up, and we spent on the platform $38 to get one lead. Now we built a lead generation form, so there are different kind of variations that you can actually build out on Facebook. But in this particular situation, I'm not trying to send them to the website. I'm not trying to just have them like click a button. All I'm doing is creating a lead generation form on Facebook to where if somebody's interested in our ad, they can literally put their name, phone number, address, email, and then submit a lead generation form for us. That's all I'm doing. I'm not trying to connect it to the website, track all this data, and do all this like complex stuff. All I'm trying to do is get leads. In this scenario, we spent $38 to acquire one lead. Well, the question is that good or not? Well, let's do the math here. So I'm gonna pull up my handy dandy calculator here. $38 per lead. Well, if we have a 40% close ratio, what does this mean? 100 divided by 40 means we need to get 2.5 leads to equal one customer. Well, you can't really get a half of a lead, so we're just gonna round up. This means that we need to get 3 leads from our Facebook ads will equal 1 conversion paying customer. Conversion. Yeah, conversion. I feel like that's spelled wrong. Sorry if I'm misspelling things. That means we need to pay triple that if we're getting one lead for $38. So 38 times 3, that's $114. $114 is what we are going to spend to get one customer. Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. Well, again, the question is that good? Should I keep pouring money into Facebook ads, spending $114 to acquire one customer? Let's look at our key data up here and see. If the average lifespan of a customer is 2.5 years, so that's 2.5 times $2,000, that means we will get $5,000 per customer. So every customer we get will get us $5,000. But you have fuel costs, you have labor costs, you have equipment costs, you have repair costs, you have operating the business costs, everything that goes into the business. So what do we know? We will gain 15% profit because that's what we did last year. On $5,000 times 0.15, which is 15%. That means we are going to get a positive $750 for every customer that we book. And if we spent $114 getting this customer, what does that leave us with? $636. $636. That is going to be what's going in our bottom line profit after we spend the money on the Facebook ad. So what does this mean? Well, $636 divided by 114 means we are spending for every, and let me put this in red so you guys understand this. For every $1 we are spending, we are getting $5.50 back. That's a very good return. I would pour money and gasoline on that avenue. If you can spend $114 to make $636, keep doing it. That's how you calculate cost per lead. All right, so the next thing we're gonna talk about is customer acquisition costs. This is one of the key things that we need to understand in our business. What does CAC stand for? Customer acquisition cost, all right? So these are real numbers from our business last year, just so you guys know. So we're talking about 4 different avenues here. We already talked about Facebook, and then the next one is gonna be EDDM. So again, this is all the stuff we did last year. EDDM stands for every door direct mail. This is something you push out flyers through the mailing system, like UPS. All right, next one is going to be truck. These are more decals or wraps on the truck. And then the last one we're gonna say is Google. When I say Google, on this, I'm referring to website, so let me actually just put website on here. Otherwise, people might think this is Google Ads. More organic searches here. These are real numbers from our business, so let's dive into this. How do we calculate the customer acquisition cost? Well, first thing, like we talked about in the beginning of the video, we need to track where these customers are coming from. So as long as you're doing that in your database, you can pull a report. Hopefully you're using some kind of Jobber, Copilot, Service Autopilot, Yardbook, whatever to calculate or house your customers. And then we're going to jump in, tag them what source they are coming from. First one, we spent $38. We already did the math on this one. At a 40% close ratio, we need 3 leads to convert. So 38 times 3 is $114 to acquire a customer. That's pretty good, depending on the services you offer. Next one, last year we spent $7,000 on EDDM. This got us 87 leads. 87 people called us. I can't remember, I think it was about 15,000 door hangers that went out. 15,000 door hangers got us 87 leads. From this, I'll put an L here, 87 leads converted. Again, what do we have? A 1/3 close ratio. Well, if you see here, 37 of them converted to customers. If we acquired 37 customers and we spent $7,000 doing it, 7,000 divided by 37 puts us at $189 customer acquisition. I'll start circling these so that way it makes it easier. Truck decals. Well, we spent roughly about $2,000 getting the vinyl stickers on the truck. $2,000. And last year we booked, there was a lot that called, but we booked 31 customers. C stands for customers. If we take $2,000, we divide it by 31, that puts us at a whopping $64.51. Customer acquisition cost. All right, last one, website. Again, this is gonna be really small because the website's amazing and it's organic. We spent $31. $31 on our website. Now, this is a little bit flawed because this does not actually include the time that I spent years ago, a couple years ago, building the website, making sure the SEO is good. There's hours and hours and hours of work. But now that it's up, honestly, every like 6 months, I go in there and tweak a couple things. It's very hands off. If you want to put my time in there, honestly, I mean, I guess for our business, I mean, I when I'm working in the business, it's probably making the business about $250 an hour. So let's just say 2 hours, that puts me at 500 plus the actual like admin cost of the software itself you have to pay. So $531, we'll just say, is roughly our cost for my time plus the fees every month to pay for the website. So from there, we got last year 226 leads. Guess how many converted? 95 became customers. Paying customers that gave us cards on file. That helps build our business. $531, if we divide that by 95, gives us a whopping $5.58 customer acquisition cost. When you look at this, this is the data that you need in order to build and grow your business. When you look at this, we spent $5.58 to acquire each customer. Phenomenal. Like, you can't really like pour more money into that per se, but like that's working really well. Keep doing that. Whatever we're doing, we need to keep that up. All right, next thing, truck, $64 customer acquisition cost. I like that a lot. Next one, the third best, Facebook ads, $114 what we're spending. We're still making money. You saw the numbers. For every dollar we put in, we're getting 5.5 back. That's still really, really good. EDDM, $189, not as good, but still a lever that you can pull in your business. This is exactly why when I do so many coaching calls, people are like, well, what's the best way to market? Where should I put my money? And like, these guys are just getting started. Maybe you're not getting started. Maybe you have money to spend. What I would hate for you to do is spend it foolishly. So we need to know our numbers. We need to know how they heard about us. We need to know how to calculate customer acquisition costs. We need to track the data so that way we can make educated decisions in our business to grow and not plateau and not rely on referrals. If you like this video, hit the thumbs up. This is exactly why I tell people to, number one, chuck decals. The website typically takes a little bit of time for the organic search to learn and understand. So it doesn't happen overnight. If you're just starting your business or you're just getting started, the website is good. It's more of a long-term play. If you want something more instant and quicker, what I would recommend, not necessarily EDDM. You gotta be a little careful with that. You gotta have a really good offer, timing matters, all that good stuff. I normally recommend people to do door hangers. That will get great return if you do it at the right time. Truck decals. That is typically at the top of my list. And then after that, we can start to look at other avenues of like building out the website for the long-term play, maybe doing Facebook ads, Google local services. But the reality is this, there's not just paid advertising. There's also free advertising and time energy advertising. And what do I mean by that? If you are not already, hopefully you're using a CRM, before you even look at spending money on EDDM or Facebook or Google ads or anything of that nature, before you spend a single dollar, ask yourself this question. Are you sending out a mass email to your existing customers and leads in your database? Hey, we're offering mulch cleanups this month. Hey, we're offering bush trimming this month. Hey, we're offering pulling weeds this month. Every month we should be sending out an upsell, especially during the growing season, wherever you're at within the United States, Canada, whatever. We've got people that watch this from Australia here. That's free. You already have them in your database. Send an email out every month. Create some kind of urgency around it. Hey, we're running a special for Memorial Day. Hey, we're running a special for 4th of July. Hey, we're running a summer special, spring special, fall special, whatever special, offer that. That's number one. When you're on the property, here's number two. If you are not sending them personalized emails or texts based on, hey, I was there today and I noticed you need a bush trimming, we are failing. There's money being left on the table. We should be sending out these personalized recommendations to the customer before we spend any money on this type of stuff. It is mind-boggling to me that people think they could just throw money at these things, and you can if you have a lot of money. I don't like losing money, and I hope this video helps you not lose a lot of money. I would do those things first. I would get inside of Facebook groups, find neighborhoods that are inside of your territory. Get inside of those Facebook groups. Take a picture of yourself in front of your truck, in front of you with the mower, and say, hey, my name's Will. I'm a veteran. I just got out of the military. I'm starting my own lawn business. Use your story. Inspire people with your story that you just got out of college, or you just stepped away from your job and you've got kids to feed. Take a picture of them too. Put your family in it. Do what you need to do to accomplish your goals, and you will absolutely crush it this year. I wish you guys all the best. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. Go down right now, click that subscribe button. We'll see you guys in the next video.